Hi, Adiaxos family, what's up? How are you, everyone? It's time again for our 5 minute mindset practice with me, Coach Jacob. So, thank you for tuning in and welcome. With today's session, we are going to tackle the last part of our bigger topic we had throughout the last weeks in the mindset talks with me, which was motivational psychology. As mentioned last time, after having talked about the value expectancy model and the influence of these two factors on our motivation, we will conclude our thoughts around this bigger subject, motivational psychology, by focusing on personal traits and their contribution to motivation today. But before diving into this, as always, our breathing part for you to dial in and calm down here, and at the same time to make a variety of breathing patterns available to you that you then can pick and choose from and apply them on your own whenever you need or want to. Alright, today's pattern will be a bit more advanced. We're going to do 8 seconds inhale, our belly expands like a balloon, 4 seconds retention, we stay calm and hold our breath, followed by 12 long seconds exhale, we let our belly button sink back in again. So now, on your own, for the next approximately 90 seconds, close your eyes if you want to, and then 8 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 12 seconds out. Nice, alright. Now, short recap. In the last two sessions, we have tried to build some awareness by focusing on the question which contributors affect our motivation, no matter what kind of challenge or task we exactly face. From an indeed relatively theoretical standpoint, we can imagine an equation where our net motivation is on the right side of the equal sign and the factors which eventually determine the amount of our motivation are on the left. Regarding those factors, we have talked so far mainly about situational components, incentives, so the value we see in what we are doing, basically extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation, and our expectancy, or rather the moderation of our expectancy we link and associate with obtaining a hypothetical goal state, what again affects our idea of the chance or probability of a successful task realization, since our expectancy basically determines our definition of successful. Now, beside value and expectancy, situational factors, all of us have individual personal traits which are relatively context independent and stable. And these personal traits form the third and last component we want to talk about, that is on the left side of the equal sign, as a further factor deciding how high or low our motivation regarding a certain challenge or task eventually is. The determinants of motivation inside a person are called motives. Those motives basically are evaluative dispositions for classes of situations. So situations which share the same fundamental characteristics and usually comprise both a positive approach component as well as a negative avoidance component. If it comes to the question of achievement, this transfers to hope for success versus fear of failure. The ratio between these two motive components might decide on our motivational tendency and if an action is ultimately taken or not. Alright, as said before, motives are individual and sort of inherent to a person, or at least developed through socialization. However, the perspective on things, on success versus failure thoughts, still might slightly be changed by practicing mindfulness, by calming down, focusing, and reflecting on what this task is actually about, what might be real difficulties and obstacles in achieving the respective goal, and what is only my more or less reason, less emotion. While this realization is maybe more complicated for implicit, so subconscious motives, it could get effective regarding explicit, conscious motives. In general, awareness might become key dealing with these questions. Overall, and I want to wrap it up with the following: motive, expectancy, and value are the factors on this left side of the equal sign we talked about, and multiplied result in our net motivation on the right, at least in theory, because this would mean if all these components are maximal, our motivation will be too. And even if this was the case, and for instance, short term, a maximal expectancy leads to the highest possible motivation, what's happening long term? Because are maximal expectations always realistic? We talked about this last time. And vice versa. If any of these components, factors, would be zero, is there automatically no motivation at all? Mathematically, yes. Alright, I want to finish this session with these questions and leave them as food for thought for you. From me, that's it for today. Hopefully see you next week. Cheers everyone.